Good morning, friends on Zoom and YouTube. We'll begin our devotional in a few moments. Hello.
Let's see Gracia Faye's cane here. She can't.
Did it fall behind the sofa?
I don't know.
You want me to go look? That's all right. I'm out of it. Unfortunately, Finian plays with it sometimes. I tell him not to.
Yeah.
Dig it out. Yeah. Finian knocks it down sometimes.
You have it? Okay.
Good morning and welcome to our daily devotional from Pilgrim Congregational Church. I'm Patrick Horn. Very glad to have you join us on this Monday morning. Let's see, now it's May the 17th. I keep wanting to say April, but it's definitely May. May the 17th, 2021. And we're going to change gears just a bit this week. This coming Sunday is Pentecost Sunday, and it's also the Sunday when it's Christian Education Sunday at Pilgrim, and so the young people will be in charge of our service this Sunday, and so I will not be preaching. However, I did choose a lectionary passage this week that is not exactly the Pentecost passage from Acts chapter 2, but I've chosen a passage from the book of Romans. So Paul's letter to the church in Rome, and we're going to look at chapter 8, verses 22 through 27. So this week we'll be looking at Romans 8, 22 through 27. We know that the whole creation has been groaning in labor pains until now. And not only the creation, but we ourselves who have the first fruits of the Spirit groan inwardly while we wait for adoption, the redemption of our bodies. For in hope we were saved. Now hope that is seen is not hope, for who hopes for what is seen? But if we hope for what we do not see, we wait for it with patience. Likewise, the Spirit helps us in our weakness, for we do not know how to pray as we ought, but that very Spirit intercedes with sighs too deep for words. And God, who searches the heart, knows what is the mind of the Spirit, because the Spirit intercedes for the saints according to the will of God. So this is Romans chapter 8, Paul writing to the church in Rome. And of course, he's dealing with, in many respects, a question that is dealt with quite a lot in Christianity and other religions as well. And that has to do with why there is evil in the world, or why things are so difficult at times. And so he's dealing with this question of the pain that we experience now, that the pain of that creation is experiencing. And he speaks of the whole of creation, in fact, being in labor. And so the reference there is fairly clear that something new is being born, and this new birth is redemption. But it's a painful process. And not only that, it's a process that is one that rests in hope. It rests in something that we cannot see. And so Paul's approach is that if it rests in hope, and hope is something that you cannot see, then that means that that our whole orientation to life um, is to be patience, to respond and wait for this redemption in patience. Um, it's a very difficult thing to be told to be patient when uh, when patience is called for. It seems to be in those times that are where patience is the hardest thing um, to respond with. Um, I see this, of course, a lot in myself, but also in my 7-year-old, and the number of times that I ask him to just be patient, to wait. But of course, it's not easy for any of us, and it's particularly difficult when we see so much suffering around us, either in ourselves or our friends, or we look around the world and we read the news and watch the news on the screen. We can see that there's a lot of pain, and so the idea of responding with patience seems to be almost like giving up in some ways. At least that's the temptation. But I don't think that patience is simply means sitting down to wait and watch the world go by. I think that it means that in our work, our attitude and orientation is patience. So it's not that we are um, simply waiting for God to do what God is going to do without making any effort ourselves. But in our effort, we exercise patience. That is, in our work, we have a mind and an attitude of patience. I think this means that we have to be careful about expecting too much out of our own work or expecting too much from other people, uh, but rather that we simply focus on our work um, with love and joy and this very elusive idea of patience. We'll talk more about it this week. Um, the other very encouraging thing, of course, comes in the last two verses, which has to do with the fact that God's Spirit is interceding for us, and that God's Spirit is on our side. So in this travail, so that should be of great encouragement to us. Let's close with this word of prayer from W.E. Orchard. O God, thou knowest how strangely in us faith and doubt are mingled, how we have to do battle for our highest things, and how sometimes our hold is very frail and insecure. But thou dost understand. We believe. Help thou our unbelief. Sometimes the darkest doubts assail us, but we thank thee so much in life conspires to make our doubt impossible. We have sometimes felt all life sink down to the darkness of an endless night, but when we watch the setting sun fling back its beams upon the blackest clouds and make them gloriously bright, we feel there is always still tomorrow. Sometimes our hearts are sad with sorrow and we want no more of life. And then from some blossoming bough, a bird sings a song of sweetness, and we know there's nothing in our life so sad that it cannot be made into music. And now we hear from far off days a rumor that Jesus, the pure and tender-hearted, has risen from the tomb where he was buried and showed himself alive. And as we wait together here, we know that it is true, for our hearts are burning with his presence and our faith breaks forth to flame. Amen. Thank you for joining me this morning from Pilgrim Congregational Church. I'm Patrick Horn, and I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.